Good morning, welcome to another video. Today I want to talk about my tripod. Now a few months ago, in fact almost 6 months ago, I promised I was going to talk about this tripod and I never did. Don't really know why I didn't, just had loads of other video ideas. So I thought I'd finally get round to it today. Now as you well know, on this channel we like to talk about making photography affordable without compromising on the quality of our photos and getting good photos. So I thought I'd share whether this tripod is good for that or not. So let's start by talking a little bit about the tripod itself. Now I've come prepared with some notes scribbled onto a post-it note, so only the best for my viewers. A few of the boring details, let's get those over with. The tripod is 79 inches tall, which is 2 meters almost exactly, just a bit taller than me. I'm quite tall, so I went for the tallest tripod available. It weighs, the aluminium version, which I have, 1.79 kilograms, which pretty lightweight. You can barely feel it when you put it in your pack. I'll talk about a bit more about that in a bit. And the max load that you could put on top is 10 kilograms. So that's your camera, your lens, your filters, whatever you want to put on top. That's the max load it'll take before you're risking it toppling over. So that's the boring stuff out of the way, the technical details. In the UK at the moment, it costs about £80, just under, $79.99. It'll be a similar price in dollars and euros as well. And for that price, you get a lot of tripod. Now, I've been using this, like I said, for just over 6 months, and I can't fault it really. There's a couple of things I'll mention towards the end that you might want to watch out for, but let's talk about some of the reasons that I really like this to begin with. Now, this tripod, as I said, extends up to 2 meters, so let's extend it out. So we adjust the legs, comes up to about 1.5 meters up to there, and then if you want to extend the neck right out, fully extended, just a bit taller than me, 2 meters. I'm 6'2", so you can get a rough idea of how tall that is. Very tall, taller than you really need, but you can use it in any situation. Now, most people wouldn't use the center column, which is understandable. That's absolutely fine. There's still plenty of extension in the legs if you want it. Now, when it comes to versatility, there's really nothing you can't do with this tripod. You can even buy an extender on for doing downward shots if you want. I haven't got that, but if I want to use it for videos at some point, I might purchase it, we'll see. This whole center column comes out, you can flip around, and so you can have the camera at the bottom for doing really low shots. That's pretty standard on a lot of tripods these days. It's got a ball head. I'm fine with a ball head. Some people prefer not to have it, but I find it works absolutely fine. Doesn't have any issue, especially carrying a lightweight camera like mine. Mine's a smaller camera, so it doesn't weigh as much. It's got features for doing panorama. It's got a swivel head that you can control really nicely, and the standard Arca Swiss clamp that comes on top is perfect for me because it fits my Peak Design clip, so I can just slide that in there, tighten it up, and it holds it steady even at a 90-degree angle. It holds it in absolutely fine. I've never had any trouble with that. These legs extend out right out, so you can have them, so you can have it super sturdy. So if it's really windy, you can have them stood right out like that. So these are against the floor and it stops it swaying in the wind. It's got a grip for keeping your hand warm. I think that's absolutely invaluable because if you have really cold hands in winter, holding an aluminium pole is not nice. So having that warm grip, that makes a massive difference in winter. So those little things that you don't really think about that really make the whole experience a lot nicer. And on the bottom, it's got spiked feet, so you've got loads of grip on the bottom there. I've never had an issue with it sliding around or anything in whatever the conditions, even in wet conditions like it is today. Quality wise, it feels good quality. Considering it's an affordable one, it feels like it's been really well built. I've never had an issue with anything feeling like it's going to bend or snap. All the fittings work really well, especially if you take care of it. There's no issue with that. You can buy spares if you need for anything, but so far I haven't had to replace anything on it, which I think is really good. Also comes with a detachable monopod, so you can detach this whole leg and use it as either a walkie stick or a monopod. I have never used that. That's not why I have one of these. I don't really care about having a monopod for holding it, but it's good to know that it's there. It's a useful tool for anybody that does want to use it. I wouldn't say it's a selling point for me personally, but that doesn't mean it won't be for somebody else. So let's talk about maybe what you might see as a little con. In really high winds, it does have a tendency to wobble ever so slightly. That's true for almost any lightweight tripod though. You really have to have a sturdy, probably quite heavy tripod for it not to be affected by very high winds. Now in most winds it's absolutely fine, there's no issue with any wobble whatsoever, but that's just something to bear in mind if you're going to be working in really extreme conditions. You're going to want something a bit more heavyweight than this. Other than that, I've been completely happy with this tripod. So you might at this point be thinking, yeah, great tripod, but why didn't you go for the carbon fibre version? Well, I'm going to come on to that point, but first, let's go and find some compositions and actually get some photos with this tripod. It's been a long time since I've done photography in the proper rain. I've had the odd bit of drizzle when I've been out here and there, but not like this where it's properly raining. Might not pick it up on the camera, but we've got a good amount of rain today, and most people would really hate that, but no, I love being out in the rain. Something about being in the woods in the rain that I just absolutely love. It's probably my Welsh blood. So here we've got an interesting composition. I've been walking around with my camera trying to look for how to make this tree swing really stand out. It's quite an interesting tree swing. I'm not sure what I like for. Somebody's put a belt around it to have something to grab onto at the bottom when this river's fuller. I could frame it with these two trees here on the left hand side, but the tree doesn't stand out enough against the background, whereas from this angle there's like a gap in the river that I can frame the tree swing with, and because of the red and the blue of the tree swing, it really pops out against the background of the really green, luscious colours that we have at the moment this time of year. It's not your usual composition that you'd get, but I think it's one that really stood out to me, and it's my sort of style. Something a bit different, a shallow depth of field that I'm going to use again. And I need the tripod for this shot, so it's a really good one for demonstrating the usefulness of it, because it's such a gloomy day today and we're under tree cover. I can't get a quick shutter speed for doing a handheld shot, which I would normally do in this sort of situation if I could get the faster shutter speeds. Whereas I can use this tripod to make sure that I capture this without any motion blur. Plus it means I don't have to stand in the river, because this is going in the river to get it. Now, if you've watched my channel before, you know that I like including a human element in my pictures. Here you can see there's a abandoned building. I'm always curious about what the stories are behind an abandoned building, who built it, why they built it here in the middle of nowhere, and why it got abandoned. The mystery of that sort of thing really intrigues me. And this is a good opportunity again for my tripod, because sometimes I quite often like to include a person in my pictures. And if I'm on my own, the only way of doing that is by including myself in the picture and using my tripod as the second person taking the picture. So I'm going to set this up, try and get a good composition with this abandoned building and myself included in it. Let me know what you think of it. I haven't seen it yet, obviously, since back in Lightroom. But as you know, I value your opinion on photos like this. There's some photos I know are going to be good. Sometimes it's helpful having that third voice to tell me if they think it's good or not. So let me know down in the comments what you think. So let's come back around to that point about why I didn't go for the carbon fibre one. because K&F do a carbon fibre tripod almost exactly the same. There's a couple of reasons. First of all, it doesn't go quite as high. I think 68 inches is the maximum they do on the carbon fibre one, which is broadly fine. That's not a problem. 68 inches in height is plenty. You can do a lot with that. That's not the main reason. The main reason is the cost to weight saving ratio. Yes, it's quite a bit lighter. In fact, it's almost 500 grams lighter than the aluminium one. But it also costs almost twice as much as the aluminium one. The aluminium one's just under £80. The carbon fibre one is £150. And that's still a very good price for a carbon fibre tripod. But when you're talking about saving 500 grams for twice the price, that is like 500 millilitres of water. So let me see. This, for example, is my 1 litre water bottle that I usually bring with me on my hiking trips. So for £80, you can save the equivalent weight of half of that bottle, about halfway down. To some people, that's really important, especially if you're doing multi-day hikes. Every gram saved matters. But for most of us who are just out for a day hike for photography, or not even that sometimes, then saving 500 grams for an extra 70 quid. For me personally, that didn't matter as much, so I didn't spend that much money. I'd rather put that money towards another lens, or maybe even an upgrade of camera in the future. But I don't need to spend that much on an upgraded carbon fibre tripod, so I didn't. This channel's all about doing photography in an affordable way without sacrificing the quality of your photos. And that's one of the ways that you can do that, is by not spending money that you don't need to spend. Put it towards what actually makes a difference to your photography, which is the quality of your lenses and the quality of your camera. So in conclusion then, yes, I think K&F Concept's lightweight tripod is very good value for the money. It's not the cheapest tripod out there, admittedly, but for what you get, for what you spend, I don't think you can get much better value than that. I don't begrudge anyone buying the carbon fibre one either. If you want to spend that much more to save that much weight, that's absolutely fine, and go ahead, do it. It's a good idea for a lot of people, just not for me personally. I didn't want to come across like that. If you want to check out some of the pictures I've taken, both with the tripod and handheld, then check out my portfolio on my website, joshuapeg.com. You can see all my pictures there that I've really put a lot of work into, and just see what you can accomplish with affordable gear. You don't need to spend a lot to get good photos. I endeavour to show that with my portfolio. If you want to watch a video where I got one of those portfolio pictures, then watch this video here, and I'll see you next time.